Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my webinar, a free webinar trying to explain and to give guidance to local brands, retail stores, businesses that are interested in using local athletes to promote their business. My name is Mark Koesterer, and I'm the founder of the Players NIL, an online education company designed to educate coaches, administrators, athletes, local businesses, and national brands in all of the opportunities created by what we refer to as name, image, and likeness, or NIL. Let's start at the beginning. The Players NIL was founded in 2021 after years of working in Hollywood in the sports and entertainment business. I worked for a company and became president and CEO of a company called Sports Studio. We produce sports content in Hollywood. So that's movies, TV shows, commercials. And our claim to fame was that we did it in licensed partnership with the NBA, the NFL, and Major League Baseball. So for 15 years, we produced almost 1,300 projects a year. NFL commercials, NBA commercials, MLB spots, sponsorship content, movies, television shows. And it was there that I learned about licensing. Athletes, branding, marketing, agents, agencies, production, group licensing, sponsorship sales. And it really is the foundation and the background for the Players NIL. In addition to that, I was a high school athlete, college athlete, a parent of college athletes, a parent of professional athletes. And I was involved with youth programs, grew a program that reached almost 4,000 athletes in the summertime. Started a high school program that's put almost 250 kids in college today. And so I have a deep passion for sports and a deep background in the business of sports. Our company was founded on two principles. The first one came from my father, and that is, how do you use athletics to better your life? And it sounds simple, and it is. And those of us that were fortunate enough to use athletics to get to college enjoyed the benefits of that. Lifelong friendships, incredible life skills, networking opportunities, some of the best times of your life. The second principle is, when that athletic career is over, how do you use athletics to better the lives of the people around you? What can you do to give back, to pay forward, to enhance the opportunities for those perhaps less fortunate, and certainly those that come from behind? So welcome to the Players NIL. I'm excited to share what I've learned in the last few years in name, image, and likeness, and throughout my career around sports and entertainment. Here's what I plan on sharing with you today. What is NIL? How is it being executed around the country? What does it mean to build a brand, both a personal brand and a business brand? What does brand mean? Additional brand building ideas. We'll give you some tricks and tips about how to build that brand and network. What are practical first steps? It's easy to have a seminar and you walk away, you go, okay, what do I do first? I want to try and avoid that. And how using this platform creates life skills and opportunities for young athletes, and therefore becomes a great empowerment for local businesses. The history of name, image, and likeness, or NIL, as we will refer to it during this seminar. Essentially, professional athletes have been selling products since the beginning of time. If you go back to Babe Ruth, he sponsored many products, Coca-Cola, cigarettes, etc. And professional athletes, as television grew, as fandom grew, as the leagues grew, became sponsors. Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, Joe Namath, some of the greats, Joe Montana, Dwight Clark, monetized their brand after a great run with the San Francisco 49ers. We always had an aversion to professional athletes participating in college athletics. We called it the amateur rule. And we actually had that in Olympic activity as well. As recently as 1992 was the first time that professional athletes participated in the Olympics. You may remember the Dream Team, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, etc., etc. And so there has been a slow transition of amateurism disappearing and athletes monetizing their brand. Olympic athletes have begun to get sponsorships in track and field, swimming and diving, and of course we know lots about gymnastics. So The history of NIL is long. It just never applied to what we traditionally call amateur athletics, college and now high school athletics. So this change in legislation as of July of 2021, when the NCAA removed all restrictions on athletes using their name, image, and likeness for monetary purposes, really is a new venture and a new chapter in the history of college and high school athletics. Unfortunately, a lot of what the original intentions were have been distorted. When you get people with power, with alumni responsibilities, passion, and connections, and the opportunity to influence recruiting, to influence retention, to influence those individuals on their team, they're going to take advantage of it. And legally, collectives were formed, which essentially are booster clubs on steroids. The reason for the collective is that these schools in the early part of NIL the last 3 years have tried to stay clear of guidance around pay for play and illegal activities for payment for performance. So the collectives serve as a buffer. The second thing that's happened in the last 3 years that NIL has been blamed for is the transfer portal. Unfortunately, there was no foresight from the NCAA connecting name, image, and likeness in the early stages, which grew into the collective era, which grew into the transfer portal era. The third tipping of the dice was the consolidation of conferences. And basically that has been because of media rights and television rights and the money. None of it has to do with athlete marketing, athlete branding, or athletes as brands, as we like to say in name, image, and likeness. So let's talk about that. I teach and profess the 5 pillars of education around NIL. I believe that these are the 5 foundational pillars that, quite honestly, all young people should participate in and learn from. And they include digital marketing. In today's world, almost every business you're in involves some form of digital marketing, whether it be a website, whether it be a podcast, social media, digital marketing outreach, presentations, etc. It's a great way to connect. It's a great way to formulate relationships, both personally and professionally. For athletes, once you build that personal brand using digital marketing, how do you leverage that with local businesses and local brands, which we're going to talk about today? So influencer marketing. What is an influencer? How does it work? Unfortunately, many young people today are not well versed in the area of contracts. What is intellectual property? What are lifetime rights? What are net payment terms? These are things that are important to understand before you sign away on a contract without any professional advice. And we always advise every young person to have someone with a legal background look at your contracts. The 4th pillar is community service and philanthropy, a great way to connect with your local business, a great way to connect with your local community, and a great way to grow your brand. We talk about a great example of Damar Hamlin, the football player with the Buffalo Bills, who until he had a nationally televised medical event on Sunday Night Football had really not been heard of outside of his circles in high school in Pittsburgh and the University of Pittsburgh and his local Bills Mafia fans in Buffalo. When that medical event occurred, and thankfully they saved his life on the field, we started learning more about Damar Hamlin. And what we learned was that this was a man of service. He had started a charity in high school giving away toys to disadvantaged and underprivileged children in the city of Pittsburgh and in his hometown. And when the public heard about his charitable function in the world, they got behind it. And what was originally a $2,500 goal, $2,500, quickly exceeded $10 million in donations. And so the charitable function of his brand created relationships and opportunities that have changed people's lives. The fifth and final pillar is financial literacy. All young people should understand the basic concepts, the power of money, compounding interest, the cost of money, loan interest, mortgage payments. What do you do when you have some money in the bank? What is a savings account? What is an interest-bearing loan? What is a 401k? What is some of the investment vehicles that may be out there? So financial literacy is pillar number 5. So those are the 5 pillars of NIL education, which we teach and profess and are available on our website. Since the beginning of NIL, 80% of NIL deals are based on social media. 60% are with local businesses. What does that say? That says that local athletes, as influencers on social media, are dominating the NIL space. We're going to talk today about how a local business, a sandwich shop, a pizza shop, a car wash, a landscaping company, insurance company, a local market or bodega, a local retail store can take advantage of this new opportunity and empower athletes to help promote their business. What is an influencer? I use a very simple example. Let's say I drove into your hometown and I pull into the gas station, I'm pumping gas, and another car pulls up. And I ask the owner operator of that car, where's the best place to go to lunch today? I'm traveling through town and I need to grab some lunch. And that individual shouts across the gas pump the name of a restaurant, a diner, a store, a fast food restaurant that they like. That person influenced my decision by giving me a recommendation and a suggestion. The challenge with that scenario is that was an influence of one. That person influenced one person, me, not a large number of people. And an influencer today can use social media to influence hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, in some cases, millions of people. And so what an influencer is someone that guides or gives direction to or suggestion to purchasing decisions, lifestyle decisions, employment decisions, things like that. That's a basic concept around what an influencer is. What goes into an influencer brand? Well, the first and foremost, most important part is a personal brand. What is a personal brand? A personal brand is what other people think of you. A personal brand is how you are perceived in the community, how you are perceived by others around you. And so personal branding has to do with storytelling. And storytelling is what makes you relatable. Why are you of interest? Why would someone care about your story, care about you as a person, be interested in your story, follow you, perhaps listen to your words of influence? The best way to do that is through social media. It's the most efficient way. And it's a tool that's available to local businesses, to individuals, to large corporations, to worldwide businesses. The most important part of connecting personal brand storytelling and social media is authenticity. That is the most relatable quality that any influencer can have. Authenticity simply means, are you believable? Are you someone that people look up to? Are you someone that people respect? Are you someone that someone will listen to? When that person drove into the gas station, I sized up their car, I sized up their clothes, I sized up how they looked. Were they trustworthy? Were they someone that I would listen to before I asked the question, where's the best place for lunch in this town? And so those are the basic concepts that you need to understand and manage in order to build an influencer brand. There's 3 circles of brand building. And I start with the friends and family circle because almost every individual starts a social media account with their friends and family, their neighbors, their cousins, Uncle Johnny's golf swing, Aunt Sally's picnic at summer, Grandma's turkey at Thanksgiving, going to the park or the lake or the ocean, or going on vacation with friends and family. Those are the social media posts that build a friends and family circle. While you should always have a friends and family circle, and hopefully you'll never lose that, we aim to make that the smallest of the 3 circles of the brand building. The second circle is the community. These are people that you don't know, but perhaps they know you. They followed you because of your authentic brand, because of your story, because of the storytelling that you related to on social media, because you're a good athlete, because you're a great athlete, because you're a community servant and philanthropy-minded person. And that community circle really is the circle that you're going to leverage with a local business. And as a local business, this is the circle that you want to look at local athletes to see what does their community circle look like. Remember, in a small town, it's possible that their social media following may be less than 1,000 people. But if all of those people live in your community and are influenced by that local athlete, that's a very specific targeted marketing campaign for a local business. The third and final circle is the professional circle. And this is for young athletes who want to use this platform, name, image, and likeness, to create lifelong opportunities, to create brands that can create internships, job opportunities, life skills, entrepreneurial opportunities, money raising, foundational, pivotal things that will last you a lifetime. And so those are the three circles of brand building. How do brands view influencers? Like it or not, the Kardashians have changed the world. They were one of the early worldwide influencers in the marketing space, millions and millions of followers. And so brands are looking to influencers to create a connection to a specific audience. We use the word sports fan often in our athletic vernacular. Fan is short for fanatic. And why are athletes so popular as influencers? Because they have a greater engagement rate and they have greater community connections. So how do brands view influencers? A direct line to community connections. They become a local authority because they are thought leader, because they are authentic, because they are relatable. Their engagement rates are higher. An engagement rate is simply a combination of when you post something on social media, likes, comments, or shares. You may have a large-scale athlete that has millions of followers, but when he or she posts something, doesn't get much of an engagement rate. Local influencers, micro-influencers, less than 1,000, less than 10,000 followers, tend to have larger engagement rates. Athletes tend to have a 3 to 5 times greater engagement rate than a traditional influencer. So when you put that together, along with the authenticity of the local athlete being someone that people know through the community circle, you have a very hyper-focused, specific, targeted marketing campaign that can drive business to a local business or retailer, insurance company, car wash, landscape company, whatever the local business is in your town looking to connect with the community at large. Athletes as influencers, I just mentioned, 3 to 5 times greater influence rate. All you have to do is look at social media today, watch television, look at the commercials. How many brands use athletes as influencers? Why? Because we feel connected to them. We watch them perform on the basketball court, the baseball field, soccer field, softball field. We respect them. We admire them. Maybe there's something about their background. Maybe there's something about their story, the challenges that they had to overcome. And so we respect athletes at a higher level than a traditional influencer, especially when they're talking about brands related to their message, to their life story, to their profession, to how they live their life, etc. So athletes as influencers, what we're going to talk about in the local community, connecting with local businesses. The power of force multiplying is a concept that I've developed, and I believe that it's really a great example of how social media can impact the community. And I use the example of after it rains in the parking lot, there's a puddle. You walk out to that parking lot, you pick up a pebble or a rock, you drop it through the surface of the water. When that rock goes through the surface, it creates a hole in the surface of the water. And as the rock goes to the bottom of the puddle, to the parking lot, that hole closes up. Remember, we talked about the influencer example of me asking the individual at the gas station, where's the best place for lunch? That's an example of the rock into the pebble. That was an influence, communication, conversation, but it only went to one person, me. So when you drop the rock through the water, it goes through the surface of the water closes in, the communication is over, unless you know how to amplify the ripple effect in the water. And you do that through hashtags and mentions. You do that through hashtags that connect with thoughts, feelings, mood, happy day, sad day, rainy day, excited, anxious, thankful. Those are examples of hashtags. The mention signs or the @ symbol is how you connect with brands. So if I were a local influencer trying to connect with a local restaurant, I would use the @ sign or the mention sign and then the name of the local restaurant's social media handle. And that uses your initial post and grows it through the ripple effect of the water going across the surface of the water. So I think force multiplying is a great concept, and social media gives us the opportunity to force multiply what our message is, and grow our audience. Community service and philanthropy, I mentioned you as one of our 5 pillars. What a great way to connect with an audience, as I described Damar Hamlin, a local business that's involved in charitable work. Perhaps they donate to the local 5K run on the 4th of July or the turkey trot. Perhaps they have a community cleanup day in the spring. Engaging local athletes to talk about that, to force multiply the good that's being done in the community and give credit to the local business is an excellent way for all brands to grow. The local business, the athlete, and the community philanthropy project that everyone's supporting. Content ideas for young athletes. So you can freeze this and take a look, but there's all kinds of great things that athletes can talk about. Remember, we talked about authenticity, training sessions, game highlights, recovery techniques, drills and exercises. These are examples of things that people are interested in. And as a young athlete that's growing their followers, the more you talk about these things, the more you will be relatable to the businesses and to the community that you're trying to reach. So 20 great content ideas for young athletes. When you have an idea, it's okay to mention what you're talking about and to use those content ideas, but the language or the hooks are really important. Why I think traditional education is overrated. That gets people's attention. I challenge you to 7-day gratitude journal. Who's in? It engages people. It gets people to think. It gets them involved. It gets them to participate. It challenges their thinking. It challenges their ability to connect with you and to follow what you're doing. And it also creates a following along the journey. Which way do you prefer, coffee or tea? Vote below. It's just an engagement tool. It's a hook. There's lots of them on this page. You can freeze and look at that. I love Simon Sinek. He's a great orator, a great leader, a great speaker. And this is one of his quotes that I love. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And that has to do with storytelling, and that has to do with social media, and has to do with force multiplying, and all the things that we're talking about. And so today I'm hoping that you understand now how local athletes can connect with brands and how brands can use local athletes to force multiply their message. Practical next steps for local business. Create a game plan. What is it that you're trying to communicate to the community? Is it a lunch special? Is it a charitable event that you're supporting? Is it that you're trying to support someone on your team, a staff member that's in need? Is it that you're trying to grow your business through a new menu or through some connection to the community? Identify local influencers. Go on social media. Ask around, find out who in the local sports community is active on social media, who has the largest following. Look at the engagement rate on Instagram or TikTok. Empower them with content. Come up with ideas as we have the 18 hooks and the 20 taglines. How does that submarine sandwich built? How do you clean the grill? What time do you open? What does it take to order all of the food? All of these behind the scenes content ideas, which will create content empowerment for your athletes. Be consistent. The force multiply effect is true. Even if you force multiply on a single post, creating that ripple effect, if you don't have a second or follow-up post that's consistently posted and put out there in a timely fashion, you lose all of the energy and all the momentum. So be consistent. And the last one is tell your story. What is your story? How did you start the restaurant? How did you get involved? What were the jobs that you did early on in your career that gave you the power to do this? Why are you an entrepreneur? How much money did you make the first job that you had? What was your first job? These are all great ideas, and they're practical next steps for local athletes and businesses to work on a game plan. I want to thank you today for listening. Obviously, I'm passionate about athletes using their celebrity, using their platform, NIL. I'm so passionate about it. I wrote a book called NIL for All. It's a 30-minute guide. It's a paperback. It's available on Amazon. And basically, it goes through the 5 pillars that we described today and what is NIL. Because I believe that there is an NIL deal for everyone. Not everyone is a $1 million athlete. Not everyone is a quarterback at a Power 4 conference or the star point guard. But NIL is for all. And NIL is not just a 4-year thing. It's a 40-year thing. When done properly, it creates life skills and opportunities that will last a lifetime. Again, my name is Mark Koesterer. My address is theplayersnil.com. I'm on social media at theplayersnil. My email address is markk@theplayersnil. I'd love to talk to you more. I'd love to work with you on your campaign. If there's anything that I can do to help you build a local campaign, engaging athletes, using NIL as a platform, please contact me. Have a great day. And as I always say, today is another chance to be awesome. Do it.